Mein Leben is the toughest trophy Wolfenstein II has to offer, but with this guide, I'm gonna help you beat the shit out of it. The actual guide starts at this time right here, so if you want to jump ahead, feel free to do so. I'm just gonna speedrun a few tips so that I can give you a competitive edge leading into your run. I'm gonna nail the most obvious off the bat, and that's practice. In the guide, I have placed 9 practice points. I hope that you play through this guide on Death Incarnate difficulty first. If any portions of the game are gonna screw you up on your Mein Leben run, it's gonna be these. Number 2, play slow. Impatience was the #1 leading cause of death for me on Mein Leben. We do not under any circumstance want to rush any part of this. You will naturally add speed to your runs as you start to solidify which strategies work best for you. Number 3, go into your console's energy saving settings and turn that off. Mein Leben needs to be done in one sitting, or so you thought. But now that the energy saving setting is turned off, we don't have to worry about your console turning off due to inactivity. The only thing we have to worry about is a power outage. It's happened before. But this allows you to take a much needed break if you need one, even allowing you to come back the next day if you need to. Number 4, controlled chaos can sometimes be better than stealth. Just about every encounter in this game can be solved using a strategic piece of cover, a choke point, and a little bit of time. Sometimes stealth is the best strategic option, but sometimes also intentionally setting off the alarm and having the enemies come to you is even better. Throughout this guide, I recommend some retreat points, but at some point throughout your playthrough, you may need to freestyle a bit. Number 5, I've created a Google Sheet detailing the encounters a bit more with the details that I couldn't fit into this video without making it an 8-hour video. Kill counts, patrol routes, that kind of thing. And I hope to continue building it in time. Those are all the tips that I can really think of, aside from the cliche, believe in yourself, you can do it. I'll machine gun some others right here. I'm not going to take up any more of your precious time. Let's get down to business and right into the guide.
Hello there.
Okay, so for this playthrough, we are going to be saving Fergus and sacrificing Wyatt. That way we can get the laser craft work. Our first encounter is right outside of this infirmary. We are going to stack up on this door just like this, lean out, shoot through that wood, and you're going to nail that guy. There are 2 more enemies in that room that want to kill us. We do not want to give them the chance. If you start taking damage, lean to your right, just like I did there. These guys will eventually run out to you if you take too long, but you can pick them off from range. You're going to see me get kind of impatient here, and I roll out. I don't advise doing that. That's not good. Don't follow me there. You're gonna pick up all this health and armor. Every little bit helps. I'm gonna reinforce that throughout this playthrough. Okay, if it's there, take it. There's gonna be 2 more running down this staircase here, just like that, and you're done with this first segment. These guys cannot hurt you. They're actually gonna fry themselves. Nice. Don't forget to pick up the armor inside this locker here. I pick up the health there too. It doesn't really matter because it's going to drain, but the one thing that I want to mention after Set gets through talking about these microwaves, we do not want to forget picking up that armor on the floor. Armor will not drain, so we want to pick up as much of that as we can. This next section has 5 enemies in it. As soon as you round this corner, you're going to see that guy on the upper catwalk. We can fry him by turning this switch on. We're going to roll down these steps, and you're going to find a guy to your right. He's going to have his back turned to you. We're going to shoot him in the back, and after we do, we should hear 3 distinct splats. Okay, after you hear that 3rd splat, that indicates that all the enemies in this section are now dead. You can turn that switch off. I don't know what I was thinking there. I shot it. It'd just be a normal human being and turn it off. I have to shoot this one too because I can't reach it safely. So as long as you turn it off, you're safe. All right, now we're at the cogwheel. You can actually die on this. You can clip into it. It's not fun. When you see this guy, start shooting at his kneecap. That will help your bullets transition into his torso. Instantly reload and be ready for these two guys. Now, if that guy on the catwalk had started walking on a patrol, we would have had to kill all 3 of those guys in one magazine, and that can be pretty tricky. So make sure you kill the guy as soon as you see him on that catwalk. We're going to go up the right-hand side of this lift, because if we went up the left, he would most likely see us. My traps are currently on right now because I had to shoot the last ones, but turn yours on when you get up to the top, and you can see a strategy that I'm trying to employ here where you can actually lure this guy to his death with these traps, but he was not cooperating with me. I actually have to go around the corner and deal with him. That is unusual. But I still dealt with him pretty safely. It's just a little added extra protection, the ability to lure him into the traps. So I'm keeping the traps on because this actually gives me an environmental advantage down here for these next guys. And there are 2 down low and there are 2 up high. I'm going to deal with the 2 down low first. You can see that guy down there taking cover on the corner. We do not want to expose ourselves any more than what we are right now. You want to be on this corner and you just want to lean out. Once we're sure that the bottom's dead, we can lean out a little bit more and get that guy down at range. He's not much of a problem. The real issue is the guy that hides right there. He will be the cause of death at this section more than anything, because you have to be so far out to be able to get an angle on him in the first place. He has this weird behavior that when you lean out to get him, sometimes he can rotate on that upper catwalk, and you may not have enough time to get back into cover before he gets an angle to shoot you. So just be very careful. You can see I'm displaying down there in that bottom right clip. He's got a good shot on you, and you don't have the mobility to get back into cover in time. So we turned our traps off now, and we are rolling down. All these enemies are dead. If you forgot to turn the traps off there was another switch I believe you can use. This guy is going to be running up the steps. He's not much of a threat at all. You can actually take that path to your left there, and there's some armor and health in there if you want to grab it. Do not try to fight these guys because they can shoot back, and it sucks. We're going to be ready for a guy on the upper window there. And then, as we keep going down, there's going to be 2 more. We want to time this explosion so that we can kill both of them, just like that. Now remember when I told you to turn the traps off earlier, and this is why, now that these traps are off, we can actually just reverse the conveyor belt without having to go that long extra route around. Just like this. I'm going to press this button, and our conveyor belt is reversed. There's going to be a guy where we entered, up here on our left. He's very easy. And you're clear. This first section is done. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, so I edited this with Frau Engel laughing at you because you can actually die from this part. And you wouldn't think so, but eventually, after so many Mein Leben deaths, you get tired of watching this dialogue over and over and over again. And if you get complacent like I did, I was just looking at my phone, scrolling away, waiting for the dialogue to pass, and I never activated the power armor. I didn't realize that the super soldier will eventually knock Fergus out, and he will come over and step on your face. So just make sure you're being attentive. We want to step into the power armor. It's very important. You don't want to sit through the entire dialogue and then die, not even by like a gunfight. It's a pretty shitty way to go. So just make sure that you step into the power armor. All right, coming up here on the right, I'm going to show you one of my deaths on Mein Leben. This pissed me off so bad, but I want to make it clear that not all of your deaths on Mein Leben are going to come from gunfights. Some of them are completely out of your control. And this vent that you stomp through here, I actually phased through the map. So it's possible, just be warned. It's a journey, man. Grab this hatchet. We're going to go through here. Grab that ammo too while you're in Rome. Or Germany, I guess. And I could proceed through here, and this vent's going to lead us to our first enemy. I skip him. It's just a small skip. It maybe saves you 10 seconds, so if you just want to go through that tube and melee him, that's perfectly fine. This skip is safe, other than falling down to your death, but it's very easy to do. Just aim your gun between the ladder and that vat, and jump, and he should latch onto that ladder. Alright, this is our first encounter. The first thing we're going to do is take out this commander. Immediately after he's dead, there you can find some grenades over by this recording machine. Pick them up, and the other one can be spotted over this rail. Chuck one at him. Alright, great. So the threat of reinforcements is completely gone now. Now we just have 5 or 6 enemies. I think it's 6 that we have to clean up here, and they're pretty predictable. They will run to just about the same places every time. They can actually see one of their fellow soldiers die, and they'll run to the same exact place. The most common places are on the left or right hand side of this Odin security system terminal, and then the others will actually take cover around that corner. Yeah, I actually did put a hint here. You can see I'm using one submachine gun. For whatever reason, I'm not sure if it's actually correct data-wise, but I feel like I'm more accurate with one. But, of course, it's simple math. Holding 2 at one time will put out more damage. So just keep that in mind. Use whatever you're comfortable with. Just don't leave this upper catwalk. You're safe here. I will mention that it probably wasn't smart of me to stand next to that fire extinguisher, because if they did get a shot on that, that would most likely stagger me back, but I don't think it would kill me. This encounter does have a indicator when it's over. Blazkowicz will actually start talking about the Odin security system, so we should be hearing that really soon.
Odin. Automated security system.
Before we leave this room, I like to get a hatchet. We're just going to climb this ladder here. And it can be found behind us. We'll see this at the end of the game too. I think I get it at the end of the game. So, reaching our first ammo room, just take everything. We can use it all. That's one of my main rules of Mein Leben. If it's there, take it. We can use it. Even on Mein Leben, that little bit of health, it will help. Throw the grenade. We're going to make ourselves a nice little hatch to drop down. And immediately make your way for this corner. You're going to wait here so we can smack this guy in the back of his head when he walks around. Just like that. Gonna grab this hatchet, and there's one other person, a soldier. I mean, not a person. Oh, I guess he is a person. Yep, I'm gonna hatch him in the legs. That's what he gets for being a Nazi. Now, this next part can go one of two ways. Ideally, we want to throw a grenade over the group of soldiers walking right here. We want to get a grenade in that back room. If we do, we have a good chance at hitting the commander, like I did there. In the event that you don't hit the commander, you're going to run back to the same spot. This is the hold point. I have a couple soldiers to deal with here regardless. Please be aware that they can throw grenades at you here, just like in that clip down in the bottom right. If you see a grenade, back up, because they can stagger you. That's never a good thing. This is a pretty safe spot. You can see I'm kind of looking at that column there. Sometimes one will stack up there and you can get a shot on him. But now that the commander's dead for me, I think I've just got one left. There's another voice line here.
Caroline.
When you hear that, you have killed all of the enemies in this area. Moving forward, I'm showing you that there are 2 enemies walking across this catwalk. We can just lay down here, use whatever weapons that you are comfortable with. I like the ARs. It doesn't matter. These guys are pretty low threat. We can pick them off from range. What the fuck? Just like that. And once they're dead, run across and release the Evas Hammer.
And I'm heading back to our people.
Okay, in this room, a super soldier is going to fall from the ceiling. We're going to run to the opposite end, and we can just shoot him in the back. Very simple, very easy. That's going to be the tactic for super soldiers in this game. You can shoot for the tanks. The tanks are the key. We got to pick up his big ass laser, and you can do whatever makes you feel comfortable. You can drop one door here. You can drop both of them like I do. It's totally up to you, but I want you to take notice of how I'm using this wall for cover. Wow, I wasted a lot of laser there. But notice how my laser is clipping through this wall. The actual barrel of the gun does not need to be through or over that window. It's actually clipping through it. And that way we're kind of head glitching. It's very nice tactic. I think I actually run out of laser here. You can expect 8 to 9 soldiers and 1 super soldier here. I gotta switch to my ARs. You can see me panicking there a little bit. I wasn't sure that I was about to run out of laser. But this is just cleanup. Okay, so I've switched to 1 weapon again here because for whatever reason, I feel like 1 weapon's more accurate than 2. Could be totally false. It makes sense in my mind. I'm activating a trust issues flag here because I just want you to proceed forward, cover to cover. Never stay out in the open too long. You can see what I'm doing here, just in case there's one that you missed, okay? Grab this armor, pull this lever. We are entering into our second stealth section of the game. If we do this right, we only need to deal with 1 commander and 2 soldiers, and one of them's not even looking at us. So I'm going to hatchet this commander here, like that. And I thought about going for the card, but I didn't go for the card. We only need a handful of Enigma codes throughout this playthrough, so we'll take a skip on that one. Grab that health and that hatchet. Hatchets are always useful. And notice how I'm just keeping pace. I'm not stopping at all. I want to keep the patrol patterns fairly consistent. Lean out on this corner because this guy can sometimes be looking at you. I hatchet him in the lower body because his torso is actually protected by armor, and if we hit him in the chest, it will deflect. Now sometimes a super soldier can be walking down those steps. Just see, he was already there. Sometimes you can catch him in a patrol, so I just like to look both ways before crossing the street, so to speak. And this guy's not even looking at us. You can kill him for fun. You can go in the elevator and pull the lever if you choose. He can't get you anyway, but I make it a good practice to kill him. After pulling this lever, the people at the top of this elevator, they are going to know that you're there automatically, so we'll just spray them down. We have 3 soldiers and 1 super soldier here to deal with. The super soldier is going to walk around this luggage cart. We can't really get an angle on his tanks, so the next best place to shoot a super soldier is either in the legs or in the head. I'm just putting bullets on him. That's all I'm doing there. We can lean in, lean out from cover, just like I'm doing. He gets really close, we just spray him. That was an aggravated spray just then. After you kill 3 soldiers in that super, it's home run, baby. We're just running back to Sigrun and Fergus now. We have 2 more enemies to deal with. They are not difficult at all. We can actually get an angle on them through this from range, just like that. and you have finished this mission. I will see you in the next one.
Ready the escape pod! Let's go, we have to get the fuck out of here, now!
Hi, welcome to Chili's.
Section F, we are moving right along. This mission is not difficult at all. I just want to note that as soon as we go up this ladder, there's a ton of resources immediately behind you. There's a hatchet behind you. There's also a hatchet directly in front of us on this dartboard that we can get if we need it. I'm maxed out. You may be too. Just letting you know that it's there. This mission runs on a pattern, pretty much. The enemies are usually in pairs, so we can hatchet the one on the right and hatchet or melee the one on the left, depending your situation. I want to note that these two guys through this door here, the one on the left can sometimes be looking at you. So just be prepared to deal with them in that case. I hatchet him. That is a bad idea. You want to get in the habit of hatcheting the one on the right and meleeing the one on the left if you can. This guy is always standing alone on this catwalk. We can go about this a couple different ways. I almost always handle it the same way. Most of the time, I lean on one of these steel beams and I just go loud, and then the other two will run at you. You can see I shot him there and the other one just immediately sprinted out. That's usually how that goes. That catwalk is very linear and straight, so if they rush you, you can just stack up on a column and you'll be perfectly fine. We'll reactivate this lift and we'll find ourselves in our very first big encounter of Section F. So this is very simple. It only has one hiccup. We're going to ready our laser in our right hand and AR in our left. We only have to deal with two guys here. And you'll see my hatchet just phased right through him, and now I'm having a real hard time. It's, again, hatchet the guy on the right, melee the guy on the left. You're done. You just need to kill those two, and then we're going to laser this hatch, and we're done. The alarm will go off, but it doesn't matter because we don't care. We're safe, and these guys don't care either. So, again, keeping up with the pattern, hatchet the right, melee the left. This one, we're going to need to aim over this guy's head a little bit because he's at a little bit of range. So we can just boop, just like that, hatchet him, and then you got one on the left. That is the pattern for this entire level. It's very simple. Now we are on to our first and only gunfight in Section F, and this is very simple, guys. I wouldn't stress about this much at all. We are going to intentionally set off the alarm here, killing a commander in the process. That's pretty nice. We now have 11 soldiers and one more commander to deal with here, and this fight actually has a tell when it's close, if not about to be over. You'll actually see that other commander signal draw closer to you. He makes some kind of last-ditch effort to come put a cap in you and finish you off himself if his soldiers can't do it. So when you see that number decreasing, you've killed just about, if not all of them. The 11 soldiers are really not difficult to kill. If you remember the first mission on the Ausmerser, when we were killing enemies around that Odin terminal, you remember how I said that they kind of went to the same places over and over again? They became very predictable, and they'll do the same thing right here. You can kill a soldier on that turret, and then 2 seconds later, another one will get on it. It's so crazy. So the turret is a hot spot. They also like to go to that charging station immediately to our left. That's another common spot, or they'll just stand right there. When things get quiet enough and you feel comfortable with going down there, I believe I do put a trust issues flag on this, but we'll see. I stay up here until see, they just pop out of nowhere. So just stay calm up here and count out 11 if you can. They can be in that room directly under you. He'll run out right there to that charging station. Oh, I've got the subs now. See, you've got all the cover in the world that you need up here. This is a very nice place to be. Being very careful with that guy because that laser can do some damage to you. Okay, now I'm kind of getting the idea that maybe most of them are dead. That commander's distance has went down from the 60s to the mid 50s, and he's drawing near, so I might go after him. Just be very careful. I think I'm gonna throw a trust issues flag here just to be safe. I want you to proceed with caution. Pick up everything on the floor: health, armor, ammo, anything is useful. And I actually think I remember flicking this commander. He took me by surprise. It was like right there. Headshot him. He's down. Proceed with caution still. We're going to go to the ladder and exit the Mamate now.
Hello, motherfucker.
Alright, now we're going to talk to Set. He's going to send us to the gun range to shoot a drone. But before we do that, there is a weapon kit down here that we want to grab. We want to get the integral suppressor for the submachine guns. That is very crucial for our next mission in Manhattan. Once we shoot that drone, return to Set.
I like your cut, G.
Talk to Anya and go check on Fergus. We are in New York now. It looks a lot different than what it does in real life. We want to put the integral suppressors on these submachine guns because now we can be stealthy. I recommend crouch walking up this hill. I've never had an issue running up it, but for practice on your Mein Leben runs, you want to make it a good habit to be as stealthy as you possibly can. Don't do like I did just then. There will be a guy walking from right to left. Dear Father, shoot him with better accuracy than I just did. Okay? Sometimes this guy here can be looking at you. Be prepared for that. And we will also deal with a commander and a soldier here. I'm going to spray them down just like that. Sometimes he can be over by that fireplace. So he has different patrol routes. Just be prepared for it. We're going to go upstairs here. This is our next weapon kit. We are going to put that on the nail gun. Now we have very powerful silenced weapons. Very helpful. Now that we've hit this point, all the enemies in the building behind us have despawned. It's very important for us to grab this health here because we're about to maneuver the hell out of these guys. So we're going to actually go over there and jump that gap. But before we do, pick up this health. We're now overcharged with a decent amount of armor. Shoot these guys in the head. And immediately after, we want to sprint, jump the gap. If you miss that gap, it's bad news, man. It's not total loss, but it's bad news. We're going to sprint down this subway. That super soldier it up. And then we're going to jump over that gate. There are 5 dogs here that we need to shoot. Shooting one will lead them all to you. If one of these guys grabs you, that will suck. You want to kill them before they even get to you. There's also a ton of health. If one of them grabs you, I don't think it's all lost. It really depends on how much health and armor you have. But dogs are not good for your health. There is a guy in that hallway, usually. I headshot him. If you want to be thorough, his patrol route is through that hallway and right there. So if you took this door and turned right, it would come out that other door. Does that make sense? You can always expect 2 there. There's always 2, okay? And then this guy is always here too. Not much of a threat. He's a lone wolf. We can collect his gun and move forward. Got a little lost there. All the health. Okay, moving up into this train car. You notice I got my laser out. I don't know why I shot just then. Nail him right in the tanks. Hit. These super soldiers, they look threatening, but they die pretty quick. Armor, weapon kit. We're going to put that on our assault rifles for the marksman scope. They are now single fire and highly accurate. Soon, we'll get the armor piercing, and they'll be super powerful. We're just going to run away from him. He does not need to be fought. So, after that, we're going to pull the lever and exit this portion of the level. I'll see you there. Okay, so we're at this building now. I pick up all the resources that I can there. Very helpful. This guy is always here on the first floor of this building. Always. So we will hatchet him, and then there will be another guy up here on this staircase that I also like to hatchet. We can skip the entire fight in this building by jumping from there to there. It's not difficult. Run to about halfway, turn, jump, you're in the alley. And then as soon as you hit this threshold and slide in, all of them have despawned. You're done. So that's very simple. Now, this part used to scare the hell out of me, but don't worry. If we stick to the script, it's very simple. I do recommend you practice it though. This guy, we can shoot in the head. By now, I've noted up at the top that if your music changes, you have not set off an alarm. Don't worry, it's just part of the game. Trying to add the ambiance. There's our armor piercing rounds. I also want to make note that before we make this jump across this gap to the next area, if the big boy sees you, he will shoot rockets at you. So just make sure that he's not there, and then you can jump. There can also be a dog on this platform here. He can be right at the beginning. If you see a dog on this platform, deal with him first. I don't need to tell you about dogs. Dogs suck. This room right here that I'm walking into right now, you get to also see it in the bottom right. If your alarm is triggered for whatever reason, this is retreat point 1. Right about now, I'm trying to get a beat on where the commander is. He can either be at the beginning, right when we jump. He can be up there, and then also in the bottom right, I'm showing you that if we went through this archway directly to our left, you'll see an opening in the wall that you can actually see him at the end. Okay, so keep that in mind. That room that I'm looking at right there, that's retreat point 2. So if your alarm is going off, stack up on the left hand side of the door, and they will either drop down or they'll come down the stairs. Okay, and then for our final retreat point is right there in that corner to the right. There's an armor vest there also. So those are the 3 retreat points if you need them. I have not set off any alarms. Both commanders are dead. We're going to try to clean these guys up as stealthily as possible. But I think I did bad there. See, that guy right there saw me shoot the first guy. And since they're kind of hive-minded, the big guy is going to pop off here in a second. Yeah, that foghorn sound, that means the big boy is not happy with you. I'm just going to clean these guys up here, and then we'll deal with the big guy. You can go to a retreat point, or you can be Giga Chad like me and realize that you've only got 2 left and deal with them however you'd like. Okay, now we're going to work on the big guy. This is not as intimidating as you might think it would be. He actually falls pretty easy. And what we're going to do is kind of like a cat and mouse strategy here. He is very distractible, okay? And you'll see what I mean coming up here. I'm going to run over here, and he's not doing anything right now. Take a couple shots at him. Now he's focused on this position. So what we'll do is run all the way back to where we jumped into this place. Right here at this window. and we'll take some more shots at him. Now he's attracted to this window. He's very stupid for his size. I guess they gave him bronze and not brains. But just repeat this over and over again. I can get a vantage point on him here. He gets very close to hitting me actually, but he didn't. And I got that arm off. We want the right arm off first because that's the one shooting the big ass missiles at us, okay? After that, he's toast. He can't hit us. We can take that other arm off and he's down. Very simple. Just make sure you're not staying in one place for too long. He will get lucky every now and then. Jump up here, shoot him in his tanks, and you're done with Manhattan.
House is a fucking prison! I'm playing bullshit!
Okay, Penthouse used to be one of the roughest parts of the game for me, man. I was petrified of this, but once I learned this strategy, it became incredibly easy, all right? Jump in the corner with these boxes. You'll feel a little sink if you've done it right. You're gonna press B, and then you're gonna lean. When you can cover 90% of your... Why am I doing that? When you can cover a large portion of your body with these boxes, you've done it right. I want to mention that you are not invincible here. They can shoot you and you can die, okay? Very important. So what we want to do, we want to remain vigilant and shoot these enemies as they come at you. Prioritize the enemies that are taking aim as opposed to the ones running up the stairs at you, if that makes sense. Those super soldiers there, we are just going to ignore. They'll stay down on the bottom floor. They will never run up at us. Our goal here is to just kill soldiers and drones. And in my written guide, in the Google sheet that you can look at, you'll see some data that I collected. I ran this part a lot of times, a lot more than I recorded. And what I found is that we need to kill between 13 to 14 soldiers and 2 drones. The rest, it doesn't matter. Around about this time, yep, there they are. Around this time, Grace, Spesh, and Fergus are going to bring that helicopter around with a mounted laser turret, and they are going to clean up the super soldiers on the bottom floor. Until then, we are not moving from this position here. Not even a slight chance. So there they are. They're going to start shooting that laser. We do not go down there until we have confirmation that they are dead. One of 2 things will happen. You will hear their tanks explode. Or 2, I believe Fergus will say, "Get your ass on the helicopter." So we can use this time to gather resources while we're up here. But we do not jump for that helicopter until she stops moving. So it's lowering into place, and we are free to go. So that's Penthouse, man. Super easy. I'll see you in the next one.
Right, everyone safely evacuated off the roof. Jump in, Glasgow.
Bitch!
And his name is John C.
Returning to Section F very briefly, I'm going to fill up my laser. I suggest you do too. We want to do that at every opportunity we get. I'm going to teach you how to skip this entire level, because if we don't, there's just a shitload of super soldiers, and I promise you, you don't want that fight. You have way more of a chance dying to the army of super soldiers than this very safe skip. So in the bottom right corner, I'm showing you what portion of that wall you want to aim for to kind of clip through it, and you should be able to get it pretty consistently aiming there. I know what this looks like to you. It probably looks like an edge. That's what I initially thought. I thought that I could potentially fall off it, but I'm displaying down there that I tried to break this, and it didn't matter how far I swam out, I couldn't. Go under these pipes, clip into this room, and get close to that button prompt, pull it, and sprint for the exit. It's literally that simple. We were there for a whole 2 minutes.
Kowalski, analysis.
I found the nuclear warhead.
Back at the Evas Hammer for just a brief second, I recommend that you go back to the firing range, because now the kill house is open. And in here, we can find another weapon kit that we will use for our laser craft work. This isn't necessary, but leading up to the next mission, I think you'll be very happy that you did this. Just finish out the kill house. It's very simple.
So, I got a nuke in this here fire extinguisher.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
We're in Roswell now. I admire that car every time I load into this level. I love it. God, I wish I could have that in real life. So, in this street section, there's only one real threat. That's the soldiers. And the only reason that they would ever take action against you is if you had a staring contest with one. That's what I'm displaying down there. As long as you mind your business and you keep walking towards the diner, you'll be fine. This is one of the best parts of the game. We can actually hit him with the fire extinguisher by hitting the right stick.
The fuck you say to me, you little shit?
Now we're in the rocket train facility, and this part can be a little sketchy, so we want to keep things as quiet as possible. Notice I'm getting my silenced submachine guns out here, and I'm going to melee this guy. I would advise not hatcheting him because he's armored, and it could bounce off of him. We're going to fall on a weapon kit here. We're going to use that on our electromagnetic grenades. That will come in extremely handy later. But for now, I want you to walk the perimeter of this lower level. You're just going to want to stick close to the wall. We're not going to kill anyone else until we get to the commander. The commander is hiding up in this office type room with a dog, and we're going to want to do that silent also. There is also a hatchet on the right hand side of the store that I forget to grab, so do that. I kind of like to just spray them down. And there's a ton of stuff in here that we can grab too. When you're ready, pay very close attention to this. Pull the lever, jump on this rail, over, into the train, drop down, and you're out of there. This is practice point number 3. This is Rocket Train. Rocket Train is a temperamental part of the game that I really don't like. The best part about it is that we get the shock hammers. We can start upgrading these bad boys as soon as possible. They'll be helpful. That guy right there, you could throw a dance party in this hallway and he would not give a shit, okay? I'm going to slow down the gameplay here because I need to tell you about railway turrets. So these sons of these evil things, they show up when a soft alarm is triggered, basically meaning that an enemy becomes suspicious or investigates even without raising the alarm. The strategy, if these things show up, your best bet is to sprint for the exit or the next covered car. Okay, your survival chances with railway turrets, it's low, okay, but it's not the end of the world. It doesn't have to be, okay? As long as we remain stealthy here and we really stick to the script, we've got to be on point stealth here, we should be fine, okay? So let me walk you through this to the best of my ability. We're going to tamper with this robot, and on this same car, we're going to stay low and crouched, moving slowly. We're going to tamper with this next robot here also. Now, I like to go over top. If you're more comfortable with going underneath the trains, you can do that also. Make sure your jumps are on point, because you can miss that jump. That would be a sucky way to die, man. Again, even on top of the train, I am remaining crouched, because that guy there on the right, he will be able to see you if you're standing. So notice how I just took a pause there until he was looking at that rock wall before I moved up anymore. I'm telling you, the alarm and the people, they're very sensitive here. This super soldier here has the eyesight of a god, so what we're going to do is mirror his movements. He's going to walk over to the next corner of the train, and we're going to stand where he was. We're just going to chill out here. We don't want to jump for the ladder because he would hear us. We don't want to move because his line of sight is almost a 180. Okay? It's just like straight line. Now that he's turned, we can go for our ladder and we can climb. Again, once getting to the top, we're going to remain crouched. I am going to equip my shock hammers now. And the reason for that is we're coming up on a hatch here for the main cabin. And as soon as we jump in here, there are going to be 2 guys standing around a console. When you're ready, jump in, spray them down. Once they're dead, you've completed the rocket train. You can finally breathe. Alright, I will say that when you get to the main cabin of the train, you want to stop the train. You do not want to supermax. And the reason, I'll tell you, just in case you're curious, if you supermax the train, it will take you to the opposite end of the facility and you will start at a high alarm that you cannot deactivate until you get through the lift section that we're about to go through. So just stop the train. This is practice point 4. And moving into this small office, we will have our first victim. We're going to melee him, Shazam, and then we're going to eat his pretzel. Eat my ass, General Engel. It's a dominance thing, okay? We're going to melee this guy. Just like that. And we're going to remain crouched because it's very important that we remain stealthy because we have more enemies in this room with us if we want to maintain our stealth. Now, as we speak, there is a lift coming down for us to ride back up on. There's something that I want to mention to you before that happens. We are going to get on top of this rail, and then you're going to stand on top of this red handle. I will explain the importance of that in a second. But for now, I want to tell you to take your hands off your controller, because if you do fall down onto this pipe, you have died without dying, okay? You are stuck. You can't get back up, and you are officially too low to jump on the lift. So get on the handle and don't move. Got it? Okay. Now I'll explain to you how I died, because on my Mein Leben run, I jumped before the lift came to a complete stop. So let her stop, then jump. Immediately, once you're on the lift, crouch, walk towards the console, and we're going to press the button. Now, take mental note of where that super soldier is. He is the main threat. There are 2 soldiers also on this lift, but we need to pay attention to the super soldier because he has the eyesight of a god, okay? I'm taking cover on this piece of metal. You see the one in front of me? That's a bad idea because the super soldier patrols up towards the front of the cart, and if you took cover there, he will most likely see you, sending you to an alarm. All right, so just hang out here. You'll notice that I am taking out my dual shock hammers. Now I can prepare you for what's waiting at the top, okay? We are going to intentionally run like a bat out of hell through roughly 7 soldiers. It's like 7 or 8 and a super soldier. It's chaos, okay? But don't worry. I want you to pause your game and I want you to watch this. Watch me do this before you do it. As soon as that gate drops that I'm looking at right there, I am going to jump over this rail, sprint for this door. There's always a guy standing right there. There's always a guy on these stairs. Once they're dead, run through this door, and they have despawned. Everybody behind you is now dead, okay? And we are on to practice point 5. Or 4. Wow, I messed that up, and I cannot fix it because I've already exported the video. Ooh, okay. Yeah, just know that this is a practice point. All right. Damn. We are going to melee this commander. I have played so much Wolfenstein, dude. My mind is fried. Melee him. Oh, and grab his card. Yep, grab that. And we are going to remain stealthy. Okay, just stay crouched. Don't walk. There is one crucial detail that I am about to show you here. And I detailed this in the written guide also. That soldier right there walking on the ramp, he can be a snitch, dude. We do not want to shoot him at the top of the ramp, and I'll speed this up. We want to shoot him at the base of the ramp, because if we shot If we killed him anywhere on that slope, right there, somebody else will spot the body, and it will be a soft alarm. And it actually can develop into a full-blown alarm. So we want to kill him at the base of the ramp, okay? Moving forward, this is not foolproof, but in the event that something did go wrong and you set off an alarm, I like this corner. There are so many resources over here: health, armor, ammo, you name it. Like I usually save that health there in the event that I need it, but if something goes wrong, come back here. I meleeed that robot. Okay, there is a commander and a dog at this section right here. You can see them all the way down there. I'm going to speed this up, but I like to lay down next to this box and wait for the signal counter to get to about 17 or 18. That's when they're closest to you, and then that's when I pop around here and I spray them down. I don't like engaging them when they're very far away, because if my shots miss, then I don't have any cover, and my shots are also very inaccurate. So wait for them to get close. We're going to pull this lever up here. Just know that there are a couple of enemies up here still. In my written guide, I can show you another alternate place where they can be. Holy shit, that dude was very close. But I recommend just grabbing and overcharging your health here and then making a beeline for the nuke placement. You'll see that they chase you like this, but the second you engage that nuke placement, they're going to despawn, as you can see right here. So don't move. All right, there's resources at your feet, health and armor. I recommend you making use of those, but we also want to make sure that we have the laser craftwork supercharge here. Battery isn't really necessary, but you should have enough weapon upgrades to make that happen too. We're gonna wind up a shot, and when that's fully loaded, I'm gonna beam this dude in his forehead. So it usually takes 2 to kill him, but he's already out of the picture, which is wonderful. We're gonna sprint back, not stopping for anything here. Go back to where we entered the room. There is a 100 there. This is a nice little place to set up. There's gonna be 4 soldiers that will chase you back to this point. And then those 2. Just like that. So now that they're dead, in these clips down in the bottom right, I'm showing you in case the big guy doesn't die, he can most likely find his way over to this corner. And the strategy that I recommend if this happens to you is to equip your laser, and through that gap that I'm shooting through now in the main gameplay, you can actually tag him in the arms with the laser, and eventually he'll die. Just try to avoid how close you get to the windows, because the flamethrower can still grab. So now that I've killed the pursuers, it's time to clean up the people or the soldiers in the main room. And this console that I am taking cover on right now is a bullet tank, man. No.
So that was a fucking lie.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I would avoid taking cover on the window itself. Don't think that you're protected. Did you see how many bullets this thing just sucked up for me? It's incredible. A tip here: when you think they're all dead, they're most likely not. So just be very cautious. I ran this part a lot in the written guide too. I took a lot of notes. Let's see. It averaged out to be, let's see, about 11 to 15 soldiers here before I was able to leave by killing everybody. I think there's one guy to my right, just like that. So yeah, when you're proceeding towards the exit door, be very cautious, because when you think they're all dead, they're probably not, and you can take damage as you're turning the handle to the exit door. So we're gonna proceed to the exit door now. If you needed armor, that big guy would have probably filled you up. So we're on to the next place. All right, this hallway here, it just has 2 scientists. Very easy kills. There's some health there, and also some laser craftwork ammo that we can pick up. This next fight, you can either run past, or you can stack up on this door and kill them. It's completely up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with. I am going to run past it. If you fight, right, there is 1 super soldier and 2 robots that you will kill at this door. So I've got the laser in my left hand. I'm going to charge it up, keeping the AR on my trigger finger hand because I can shoot this faster. There's going to be a robot on that wall. And then I'm going to beam this super soldier in the forehead with my laser. If you miss, just try to single shot him or AR spam him. But it's important that you run for the exit because the robot that you skipped earlier is going to be hot on your ass. So just exit the level, dude. Dude, we're home. So this is a nice little laid back mission before we jump into the nightmare that is Courthouse. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go down into the basement and we're going to get the rotors for our shock hammers. And then we'll go upstairs and we'll sort out some daddy issues. Once those are finished, the actual mission will start. And this is the nitty gritty of House. Basically, our objective here is to disable the Ausmerser's claws. We can do that by meleeing them with R3 or whatever it is on PC. I'm not sure what the button command for melee is on there, but that's the main goal. You'll see drones appear on my left. I'm going to ignore them. I'm just going to run right past them into this middle part. And in this middle part, you can find some health that you can overcharge yourself with. That is very important because while I ignore the drones, we can put ourselves in a better position with more health. That's always a good thing. You notice I try to fight them here. Just don't do that. Focus on getting to that Ausmerser claw as fast as you can. After you do that, the drones disappear. You can always expect a robot at the base of these steps, okay? So after you kill him, switch to your dual ARs. The reason I'm recommending that is because the shock hammers cannot kill the robots fast enough. And if they remain alive long enough, they will throw an explosive at you that not only can stagger you, but also potentially kill you. And we don't want that. So now I'm finally wising up and equipping my ARs, and you can see that they're just shredding them. There are 6 robots, all right? So if you want to count them out, that's fine. And when you think that the coast is clear of the robots, we can actually go up top and try to get an angle on this super soldier. We can manipulate the cover so that we can get an angle on him without him getting an angle on us. It's very doable. Done it 100 times. I don't think you should have an issue with this. You just nab him in the tanks, and that's good. Very important note. This is crucial. While I fight this guy, I want you to notice that I have 50 health and 13 armor. That is what I would enter the courthouse with if I exited this level right now, which I do. So it's very important that you scavenge the health and armor in the house before you leave. I am entering the courthouse at a severe disadvantage. So please do not do what I do and scavenge that health and armor. I can't say it enough.
Ready? Let's get this freak show on the road.
Okay, courthouse, right down to business. We are going to grab the hammer gewer, we're going to grab the grenades, and we're going to park our asses under this table for the next 6.5 to 10 minutes, okay? We're not going to move. You can see that I'm shooting that partition wall. That is optional. You don't need to do that. That is a preference of mine that I'll explain here in a bit. But for now, we're going to stay put. Don't even do what I'm doing here. Doing that is extremely dangerous because there is a second floor to this atrium here, and there are soldiers on it that have a, bird's eye view of where you are. And if they see you, they can get an angle on you and shoot you. You can notice that I'm already at a disadvantage with my health and armor because this is how much I left the house with. And as tempting as that 100 health would be, I'm not grabbing it because it will give me a severe advantage on the super soldiers later. If you have a problem with patience like me, I'm a very impatient person, scan that QR code. That will take you to my Spotify Courthouse playlist. It's got some long songs on there. It's like Metallica and Pantera, and there's something on there for literally everybody. But those songs last between 6.5 minutes or longer. Don't move until those songs are over. That's just a little helpful thing that I do. It may not work for you. It's there if you need it. Now, I can explain to you the reason that I shot that partition wall. And the reason that I did that is because as of this moment, the enemies have no idea where we are. And because of this, when we shoot them directly in front of us, these dead bodies are not in the aisleway where the enemies can see them. Meaning they pretty much have amnesia where you are all the time. So by shooting that partition wall there, we can actually get an angle and shoot them, you know, out in the aisleway a bit where the enemies can see the dead bodies, thus luring them to us. Doing this, the only benefit that this does is instead of this portion taking us, you know, 10 to 13 minutes to do, it could potentially shorten it up as it has here. I will finish phase 1 at about 6.5 minutes here. It can go in upwards of 11 minutes, but there's a lot of things that affect the amount of time that it takes for phase 1. That being how fast the enemies come. Wow, that sounded bad. How, like, are the enemies traveling in groups? Are they able to see the dead bodies? Things like this will impact the amount of time that it takes on phase 1. But I want to remind you that at this point in time, you've probably invested 3 to 4 hours on getting to this point. Saving 5 to 6 minutes, that's something that you need to weigh out on whether or not that's worth it to you. But those are just a couple things that I can think of right now. I'm going to let this play out just so that you can see this fight. I'm not going to bother you. Just make sure that you watch this through, and more details, if I can think of any, will be in the Google sheet that you can read later. I will see you guys at about 6.5 minutes. Okay, so we're about 1.5 minutes away from phase 2 launching. I just want to give you a little bit more information on this fight. So basically how Courthouse works, it's very consistent, and it has nothing to do with the amount of time that you spend on the encounter. It has everything to do with how many enemies you've killed in the Courthouse. Basically, to trigger phase 2 of the Courthouse fight, we need to kill 15 to 16 soldiers. I've detailed this in the Google sheet if you're interested in reading it. So that's why time isn't really a factor here. We mainly need to kill the amount of enemies to trigger phase 2. And once you've done that, I want to give you an idea of what to expect during phase 2. So General Engel will come across the loudspeaker and the room will darken. Then 2 super soldiers are going to spawn into the room, one to your right and one to your left, plus the amount of soldiers that are still in the room with you. So it's definitely not clear, but if we've played this right, we will still have the 100 health pack next to us that we can use in the case of an emergency. So here comes Engel here. And you can see down there in the bottom right, I went to go collect armor. That was still fatal. You still got people watching you. This is not over. So grab what you can. Don't get greedy. Just like that. So I've bolstered my position just a little bit. And I wait for the very last minute before I collect that 100 health. You want to collect that 100 health directly before that super soldier rounds that corner. When he rounds that corner, you are going to hold down L2 and you are going to full auto spray that piece of shit until he falls. Okay? Do not single fire. We want to full auto. It is also possible, just like that, for a regular soldier to come around the corner at the same time. And just like that, full auto spray the super soldier on the left when he comes around the corner. And now I want you to listen very closely here. So when you hear that door bust down, that signals that a dog is running directly at you. Shoot him. The second he's dead, drop the hammergewehr. I've slowed down time to show you there can sometimes be a guy right here. If he's there, ignore him, run directly past him. There's a shotgun on the floor we can pick up, but this is our safe haven. The biscuits and gravy. Grab everything here, including the armor on the table, then switch to your dual ARs.
What the fuck?
Or, you know, you could be an idiot like me and throw a grenade back at yourself. I think I pressed the R1 button and I didn't hold it long enough, so it... Okay, anyways, this is where we're going to make our stand, right here on this doorway. That soldier there got pretty close, but as long as we do our job right now and shoot them from range, right in this position, they should never get that close again. The only enemies that we have that could possibly get that close to us, that will get that close to us, are the 3 robots in this area. But you will know that they're coming from like a mile away because the sound cue, their movement is very loud. They almost stomp. So the second that we hear that, we will back up to the armor table and we will aim up on the corner of that marble wall and we should be able to shred them down pretty quick. Also, I have had a grenade thrown at me here, so in the event that a grenade comes up here, we're also going to back up to the armor table. We're looking for about 13 to 15 soldiers here, but okay, that's the stomping. And I can hear another one, just like that. These ARs shred those robots, so you can just back up, take cover. I'm going to go back up here and take out a couple more soldiers. But you can kind of start to hear super soldiers stomping around. And I'll deal with those coming up here shortly. 2 of those super soldiers are going to use the same staircase that we used to come up here. We have the height advantage. We have the high ground. And we can very easily shoot them in the tanks as they're coming up. Do not stand still. They can hit you here, as this guy does. But as long as we just take little pot shots at them, just like that, those 2 die very fast. Now, stay calm. Don't move. You're going to see me be a boneheaded idiot again. I'm going to run out here. I usually count these enemies, but I guess I miscounted, and I still have a robot to deal with that I hear right here. I can hear him. So I'm going to run back. I'm going to shoot the judge, though, because fuck that guy. And this robot is right there. So just know there's about 13 to 15 enemies here, 3 robots, and 3 super soldiers. So that leaves us with just 1 super soldier left, and he more often than not gets stuck on something in the atrium, or he's just down there staring at a wall because he has no idea where to go. So in order to deal with him, I'll go to the opposite end, the opposite armory, and I recommend filling up your health and armor before dealing with him. That way, if he does get a lucky shot on you, you can kind of tank it a bit We're going to lean on this door, and we can find him right there. Shoot him in the tanks. And after he falls, you have successfully completed courtroom. Give him a teabag, man. Hell yeah. Get the hell out of there.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Okay, we just got our heads cut off. That's great. That leads us back to the Evas Hammer for just a brief minute. We are going to choose our contraption. And for this playthrough, at least the first contraption we're going to choose is the Battlewalker. We are going to take these Battlewalkers and we're going to complete the tutorial that Set has provided for us. At the end of it, you are going to find a weapon kit upgrade that we will use for the final upgrade on our shock hammers. We have to do some dialogue with the crew members. Once Sigrun arrives, talk to Anya. That makes her disappear. And then make your way to Club Kreisau. Just outside of Club Kreisau, you will find this woman, Irina. She's going to have a small mission for you to do to save Mr. Stubbins. And once we finish this will upgrade our Battlewalkers. It's going to give us a very nice perk. Follow, as I'm doing, to the T, okay? This part can kill you. Stay calm. The risk is well worth the reward. We are going to take the Battlewalker paths. So I'm going to go across this vent here, drop down, walk over to this next Battlewalker path, drop down, go all the way over to the wall, and then in the room. There will be a hatch here. Go up that, and we have found Mr. Stubbins. We need to go above him. Just like this, and we can turn the switch off. After that, punch him in the face first. Turn that switch off, and we're going to return to Arena. And Arena is going to upgrade our Battlewalker so that our overcharged health is not going to drain now until we get hit. Huge perk, man. We are back in Manhattan again. This will be our second time, and this mission is primarily a stealth mission. For the first 4 enemies, I recommend just leaning around the corner, shooting them in the head quickly and as stealthily as possible. The guy around this doorway in the past, he can be looking at you. In this playthrough, he was facing the other way, but I'm just letting you know that's a possibility. When hatcheting these guys, just remember that they are armored in the torso, so just aim for the legs if you go for the hatchet. But I'm going to shoot them in the head, just like this. In this guy, I just recommend going full auto. Just spray him down. There's nobody else to get mad at you, so just take him out. There's tons of health laying around this area. I know they're trying to force some kind of urgency by draining your health from the radiation. Just know that there's a ton of health. There are 2 dogs and a commander here that we can spray down. Don't walk forward just yet. There's a guy that approaches from your right up these stairs. We want to let him reach the top of those stairs before we take him out. So just right about here. Nice. Allowing him to reach the top keeps a person from on the lower platform from seeing his body. That helps us a lot. This guy, the hatchet phased right through him. Hatchet him in the legs. I recommend not shooting him because your bullets could go to the lower platform and stir them up. That's not good. Double back and shoot that dog that comes up the stairs. And after you shoot the dog, just do a check because there's a guy that patrols down there, and if he hears the dog die, he'll come investigate that. We just want to make sure that that's not happening. And then I like to go all the way back down and swing wide on the... See, that was the guy that could potentially hear the dog right there. His patrol route is on the upper level of that walkway. And if he was standing there when we shot that dog, he would have heard it and he would have walked up. That's why it's important to check that staircase. I like to go the long way around and come down the other one just so I can kind of creep up on him and know where he is. There are 2 enemies on this very lower level, one outside of the train and one in it. Their patrol routes are marked in the written guide by a horribly drawn diagram. Actually, this entire section is diagrammed. We're going to hatchet him right in the ass. Yes. Okay. And then we just have one left. Like I said, I'm going to retrieve my hatchet. There he is. We can take him out, and that is this section done. So refer to the guide and look for my diagram. Hopefully it hasn't shifted around. And we're going to battle walk up here. Battle walk up here and through the vent, and you're in the bunker. I'll see you on the inside.
The Nazis keep the stolen intel inside their command center. You gotta find your way in there.
We are now inside the bunker, and right from the start, there are a ton of resources that we can take advantage of. Health, armor, ammo, and there's even a laser charging station that I highly recommend that we use. We want to keep our laser charged at every opportunity that we get. After that's done, we'll make our way down this hallway, and you'll come across a Battlewalker platform that we want to get onto. This fight coming up has a very strict order of operations that we want to follow. So I recommend that you pause your game and watch this or refer to the guide. We want to shoot the commander, then the guy immediately in front of him. There will be a guy walking from left to right on this bridge. Pay close attention and pick your shots here, because if your shots go beyond him and hit an explosive tank, it will detonate and we will set off an alarm. There's usually another guy that walks out of this room as I'm displaying on that clip down there. He got by me on this particular one and was already investigating over there. And I had a close call here because he's standing right in front of that fire extinguisher. And if I hit that, it would wake the robot up. The robot is our only enemy left, and we can just safely make our way over to him and melee him. And this room is done. Now that this robot is dead, I'm going to fast forward us to the next stealth section of this mission. Right at the start, we can make use of this health and ammo. And notice how our health isn't draining now. That's a very nice perk of the Battlewalkers. That's huge. We're going to lean out this window and shoot those two in the head. And I'm also going to draw a trust issues flag here, just because I want you to take this part very slow, low, stay crouched. We are going to melee this robot. You don't want to shoot him, because take notice of the explosive canister right next to him. If you shot him, your bullets could potentially hit that. If it blew up, it would send the whole room into a riot, and we don't want that. I'm also remaining crouched walking down these stairs, because at any given moment, the commander could actually be directly below you. His patrol route is on the bottom floor, to the floor above it, to the floor that we're on now. He could be anywhere, so just stay crouched. Pay attention to your signal finder. The dialogue that you're hearing right now is from the two that we shot earlier out the window. The game is strange, and for some reason they still talk even after they're dead. Now, this is a part that can vary from my playthrough to yours. My commander is right here, so I'm going to take position on this cart. This is a good time to mention that the commander, most of the time, is shadowed by another soldier. So don't just believe that it's just the commander. He can usually have a guy next to him also. There's armor up there, and I'm showing here that the commander was alone and on this bottom floor too. So again, just be very, very careful. Moving on to the next phase of this area, we need to pull both of these levers. Be warned that there is a soldier that has a patrol route between both of these rooms. I don't see mine right now, which means he's most likely in the other one, but he could be anywhere in that patrol route at any given time. So I think, yep, there he is. See, he was right there in that control room, and he'll go down with that super soldier. So we want to deal with him. Oh, he was armored. That was a bad move. So just try to shoot him in as quickly and as stealthily as you can. We're going to wind one up for this super soldier who's walking back to investigate the guy I just murdered. And when he's dead, we can open this up and another one will walk in. Just going to beam him in the head with a charged shot. So that section is now finished, and my laser craft work is glitched and it sounds awful. Speeding up to the part with the two Panzerhunds. I think that's how you say it. Is it Panzerhunds? I think that's how you say it. Charge up your laser. Ideally, we should have the two. You should have the battery now, so you should have 200. We should be able to kill both of these guys with just one fill up, which is handy. You beam him in the head. These guys are so slow. The only thing that I can tell you, you shouldn't have any issue with them. The only thing I can tell you is don't do what I did. Notice how he blows up after he falls. Yeah, just watch how close you get. That's the only real danger here. They're not fast at all. I'm not sure why I was playing with death and getting so close to them. But now that my laser is drained, I'm going to go back and fill it up. After we are all charged up, we're going to make our way to the elevator shaft that will lead us to the next portion of this mission. This is arguably one of the most sensitive portions of the mission, and it is a practice point for a reason. And if I can reinforce one thing, if not one time, 100 times, we need to remain crouched throughout this entire segment. The reason being, if we cross this boundary right here, a rocket pistol is going to catch you in the forehead, my dude. And that is not healthy for Mein Leben. That small room right there is a retreat point. If at any point the alarm sounds on this exterior ring that we're in, we're not inside the bunker, we're on the outside of it, that is your retreat point. I recommend going back there to make your stand. Moving forward, we're going to stay on this upper ring until we locate the guy on the bottom right there, and we want to shoot him in the head. Okay? And then after he's dead, you're going to go stand on his body, because this guy always comes to investigate. Always. We need to kill him as quickly as possible, because if he is left alive and he sees that body for even a half a millisecond, he's going to start shooting. That's not what we want. There is our extended mags for the shock hammers. There's armor down there if you need it. We're going to Battlewalker up here. They almost always make a comment about hearing it, but they rarely do anything about it. More often than not, you can spot a soldier down there, and you can shoot him in the head, and that will lure the commander over. But since nobody's there, I'm just going to shoot one bullet, just one. That will lure the commander, and then the soldier we can deal with. Oh, that was messy. If the alarm goes off in here, you can expect a dog and probably 3 or 4 more enemies. Consult the guide, though. There's our other commander, and this part is all good. We're clear. The only thing left to do now is to grab the dossier. Before we do that, we're going to equip our dual ARs, because once we grab the dossier, that striped door down there opens, and 4 enemies are on the other side of it. They're going to try to get in. Our goal is to shoot them dead before they do. So I actually end up miscounting here. Just to make sure, before you jump down, you have killed 4 of them. I miscounted heavily because I actually walked through this door, and there's one waiting for me right there. I know what I was saying. I remember recording this. I looked at him and I was like, you son of a b****. We can grab our rebreather and make our way outside to the lift. This part, we are going to use our dual shock hammers. When you're ready, you can walk over to the console. Pretty much what happens here is robots are going to fall from the sky, and they're really easy to deal with because the shock hammers just obliterate them. You can either hide down here in this trench and shoot them from cover, or you can do like I'm about to demonstrate, which is basically run around like a madman and obliterate them as soon as they land, just like that. There's a little bit of time between each robot. They don't all land at one time, but what I will say is if one is left alive for too long, they will start stacking up. So as long as you just keep up with them, this isn't bad at all. There's our 4th one. Eventually, one of them gets the better of me here because I don't hear it land, I think. And he stays alive a little too long. Yeah, starts dropping my health just like that. So as I think a good tip would just to be to look up and see where they're coming from and where they land. I was kind of wandering there, so that was my fault. Otherwise, that strategy is very safe. We're going to get on the helicopter with Mbate now. I'm actually going to stay on through this cutscene here too, because I want to make sure that I tell you, you want to be ready for 2 robots that are latched onto your helicopter. So just start spamming your triggers. Blazkowicz will shoot as soon as it's possible, and you can drop those, one directly in front of you and one on the tail.
FBI, open up!
We're in New Orleans now, and I avoid the water here like the plague because there's alligators and they hurt. So to avoid them, I get stuck on some trees or some shit here. We're gonna make our way over to the saloon area and just walk around that water. I don't like going in it. We use our Battlewalkers to get on top of this building and break into this facility. And in the meantime, we're gonna switch to our silent submachine guns because these guys are gonna help us here. There's not too much to do in here. We're gonna take out 1 super soldier, and that's it. A guy immediately to our right out that door, ignore him. Drop onto this gray piece of machinery. We're gonna duck in here and get our weapon kit. You can put that on the pistol suppressor whenever you get a chance. But the important thing here is that we deal with this super soldier. You can cut his tanks, spray his legs down, and then after he's dead, immediately run for the exit. The alarm's going to sound, but it doesn't matter. Walking out this door, we are going to equip our Lasergewehr, and there is a Panzerhund down there that is unleashing holy hell on those guys. We want to pin him in the head with this a couple times. Eventually, he will explode into 1,000,000 pieces, just like that. Once he is dead, and only once he is dead, we will leap over to our right to a building where we are going to camp our asses off under these stairs. This is the best place to be. Equip your dual Sturmgewehrs and lean out just like this. This is a big fight, and we are going to stay here throughout the entirety of it. You don't move. When you think they're all dead, you guessed it, they're probably not all dead. I am speeding this up, but I am not cutting any of it. There is a clip down in the bottom right showing the massive amount of bodies that you can expect. In the guide, I've detailed that it's about 13. It's in the range of 13 to 15 people here that we need to kill. When you think that they're all dead, don't go out there. I recommend walking backwards up the steps just to make sure that one doesn't run in behind you. Upstairs, you can find an armor vest and extra health on the end table here. Recommend taking that. And this is what I recommend doing too. Instead of walking out the door to check to see if anybody's still alive, we walk out on this balcony. And if nobody's shooting you here, you're probably in good shape, but I would still proceed with caution. After you're confident that you can move up, we're going to move up the street to the bar fight. So in the guide, I detailed that immediately through this doorway next to a chair is a 100 health if you need it, and there is an armor in the corner directly in front of us. We are going to stack up on this bar. Sometimes you have to go out there and instigate a little bit. A good majority of these enemies are going to rush you, just like that guy. They can either come through that door, or they will stack up on that window to the right. So be prepared for that. I've shot 3. There's a total of 6 here. And that guy right there, I believe, is going to be the last one to run in. The other 2 are very stubborn. And sometimes you have to go out there on the street and shoot them. Oh, nope. It looks like I'll get away with just having to go out and shoot 1. Right here, I'm shooting this explosive because sometimes, I mean, even if nobody's standing near it, it's a good thing to shoot because sometimes they will react in some kind of way by like saying a voice line. I'm actually clear here, so I didn't get a voice line at all. Making your way to this bus, this is clean cut and dry. There are 4 soldiers and a super soldier here that we need to deal with. Get as many as you can from the back of the bus and then walk backwards to this nice little vantage point. We can kill everybody that we need to from here. Then it's just clean up. I think I'm shooting the car. Yeah, I'm shooting the car. I thought that was an enemy because my reticule was red. It was just the car. So now we're going to go through the garage. This is probably one of the weirdest places of the mission. You're going to shoot the door down with your laser and then instantly fill it back up. Walking through this door, there's going to be a weapon kit directly to your left on the workbench. So be sure to grab that. That's going to be our pistol magnum attachment. And there's a hatchet on the sawhorse. After you've collected those, now is a good place to make your save point. That way you don't have to do all that stuff all over again. If any part on New Orleans Day is going to screw you up, it's most likely going to be the garage here. So there's health and resources at the base of these steps if you want to collect them. I'm going to make you aware that there is a patrol route for a soldier that will come through that door on the right there. So we want to eliminate the commander and this dog as fast as we can. Shoot the dog, shoot the commander, and then run like a bat out of hell up these stairs. Expect opposition at the top, just like I ran into right here. Sometimes you can get a bonus and the commander will be there also. After he's dead, run to the end of this corridor and instantly equip your dual ARs. And you're going to make a stand at this place. There's even more enemies here than there were on the street fight. You're looking for 23 kills here. They are very simple kills though. They're pretty brainless at this part. They just keep running out into the open. Down there I'm showing a body count, but I was horribly wrong when I recorded that. There's way more. I think I get to 17 in that clip. There are 23 confirmed kills here that you need to get, including the commander. The commander is going to be the last one to run out, so that's how you know when this fight is over. He's going to send all these brainless idiots out here to die before he goes. He's the smart guy. Just keep headshotting him. There is a health kit immediately around the corner that we can grab when this fight is done if we need it. But as you can see, I'm not taking hits here. This is like a duck shoot. Gotten pretty quiet. I think the commander's going to be the next one. Yeah, there's the commander. So now that he's shown himself, you know that this fight is over. Once he's dead, we can move up and collect resources. Down in the bottom right, I'm showing the skip that we're about to do. I just wanted to talk about it before I actually do it, giving you a little bit of mechanics behind it. You're going to stand on that rail, back up as far as you can without falling off of it, and then sprint and jump across this gap. I know I do it kind of quick here. It's not hard at all to do. It's actually very, very, very easy. We are going to charge up our laser. There's going to be a super soldier that lands on top of this tram here. And I missed that horribly. It's important that we take him out first. We don't want him getting into our shit. The only thing that's left now are 6 soldiers. So once we kill them, we're going to stay leaned on this door. And I sped this up, but there are 6 there. There is a shitload of resources in this room that we can grab, so there's no reason I think that we shouldn't leave this room without max health and armor. I'm going to throw our grenade in here to blow this up. And I detail another way that you can do this in the written guide, but I want to say that this fight does not start until we touch ground in that train yard. After we touch the ground, that's when the enemy spawn. So you're going to run over to that brick wall, Battlewalker over it, use your Battlewalkers to get onto the fire escape, and then you're done. So we're going to see that again here. We're going to Battlewalker over this wall, Battlewalker onto the fire escape, and we bypassed that entire fight. That was like 2 super soldiers and a Panzerhound. So that's huge. Drop down this elevator shaft. That will bring you to this basement. I love this basement because there's health scattered and it offers us a lot of movement to traverse these enemies without being able to be seen. Using the Battlewalkers on this hole here, I'm able to take out a large portion of them. There are 5 to 6 regular soldiers that we need to kill here. they're really not much of an issue because they're distracted with Horton. But it's important to note that Horton's actually not going to kill any of these people. It's just for looks. So you need to shoot the soldiers. The super soldiers will not spawn until you step out onto this road. Once they've dropped down, retreat back into the basement, equip your laser, charge it up, and we're gonna lean so that we can beam them in the head with it. Just, well, not like that. I think I get the second one in the head. The basement is your saving grace in that portion of the level. So just work the basement, work that cover, and you should be fine.
This puppy for over a month now.
Holy shit.
First things first, we need to get off the Panzer. We are going to do this without raising the alarm until the very end. We're going to stealth this street. We need to shoot this soldier here that walks from left to right. Just like that. Moving up, there's a guy behind a piece of cover and a turret. We need to shoot him. That guy's a snitch. We want to deal with him because if we walk through this gate to our right without shooting him, he would raise the alarm. There's a guy on the corner of this donut shop. Shoot him in the head. Sometimes you can catch him in the middle of his patrol route. It's a diagonal walk from that corner to this armored car. We need to shoot him. No doubt. Moving up, there's a super soldier on the other end of this wall. On the other side, rather. I want you to listen for his footsteps. So you can hear that. He has a patrol route in this side alley. He walks back and forth and he stops at the end for roughly 10 to 15 seconds. You will hear when he stops. You just want to make sure that you are tucked behind this wall enough that not even your guns are going around the corner because his eyesight, again, is godly. After you hear him turn around, and only after you're confident he's turned around, let him take a couple steps and then we can round the corner. Notice I gave him like 5 or 6 steps because his steps aren't that big. Can't remember what the rule for shadowing people is, which is also a good thing. I don't think I should know that in common knowledge, but I think it's like 2 to 3 cars back. You want to stay like 2 Subarus behind this guy. That's a pretty good measurement. All right, that guy right there needs to fall. Shoot him in the head. Wow. I felt like I was accurate there. The bullets just didn't go. Now pay attention to where my super soldier is right now. I need to sprint for the exit alley there on the right. And I'm not going to do that right now because if I did it, he would rocket boost right down the alley with me, as you can see in this clip, and he would not despawn like all of the others. So we need to wait a little bit. This guy is a snitch. He wasn't even looking at me. He'll set the alarm off, but it doesn't matter. We're just going to run for the alley exit right here. Very crucial and important detail. You want to round the corner. That's the boundary. So once you cross that line, everybody will despawn and we can go back and get the Panzer. While we take him all the way back down this very long street, I'll fast forward. The gameplay coming up here isn't very flattering. I just used it so that you could see I took a lot of damage and it was still pretty recoverable. I want to explain how we can use the flamethrower to our advantage here. Kind of like right there. You notice how I'm splitting the flames between the corner of that cover and some of it is still going around it. That's how we can kind of protect ourselves. Oddly enough, I displayed this a lot better in the written guide than I can explain it using this video. But right there is a good example. We're not actually exposing ourselves around this cover, but yet we are still allowing the flames to shoot past it, allowing us to fry the mother on the other side. Just like that. And we want to make sure that all the enemies out here are dead and that nobody is going to be behind us. Right here you'll see that I'm walking backwards and I'm picking up some of the loose armor from that super soldier, which is pretty nice. Moving up to the factory now, I make it a good practice to blow these explosive canisters right here before I do this, just to be safe. I don't want nothing unexpected to happen to me while I'm doing what I'm doing here. There are enemies on the lower floor and on the upper catwalk here, and I want you to pay attention We do not need to go in here for our flames to hit these guys. That flamethrower is hitting that back wall. It just takes a little bit of time, so just move, constantly be moving. That's what you never want to stay still, and just alternate between the two, moving from left to right in a steady motion, just like that. Motion to the ocean, baby. Once they're all dead, you can always count on one being to your left. He will do more damage than you would ever believe. So it's important that we kill him. He'll always be there. Then, rinse and repeat. So we can just focus on this lower level here, moving from left to right. Notice all the armor that we're picking up from these barrels that are exploding also, which is nice. Moving forward around this final turn here, you can see I'm still laying it on really thick. Left to right, constantly moving. That's the name of the game here. Once you're sure that most of them are dead, you can move up and do this final turn, though it's very rare that anybody is ever coming out of this ramp. I just like to spray it out of practice. Just make sure that you spray those pipes too. Sometimes one can be behind there. And once they're all dead, we can get off the hound, and we are going to perform a small skip. I'm going to do this twice, just so that we can really let this roll. This fall takes 25 health, but we have more than enough to do it. We're going to go out on this catwalk, jump over the rail, fall down, and into this walkway. We just bypass that fight. Let me show you that one more time. I'm actually going to slow it down a little bit for you too, breaking it down just a little bit more. So we'll get on the catwalk, align ourselves with this steel column here. That will give us some extra cover as we fall. That way you don't take excess bullet damage. In this small sewer, there's actually armor over here that we can get. And then we can exit using this small drainage pipe. We're going to crouch away from these people. We don't want to walk away in the case that they might hear us. And once you're out of there, you can make your way to this small set of stairs that's going to go to this elevated platform. There are 2 enemies that we need to shoot here. That's one. We can find the other one directly ahead, leaning up against this railing. Oh man, I hatchet him. You do what makes you comfortable. He was armored, so that was pretty risky actually. The only person left in this section is the commander. We can walk forward and you can deal with him however you'd like. He's always standing under that light. Grab his card and fall down. These sewers are gravy, man. There's just 4 enemies here, and they're not even looking at you most of the time. You stab him in the liver, and then we can move onward. This guy is funny. He's overlooking this small section, and he is blind. As you can see here, I'm dancing in front of him on these Battlewalkers, and he doesn't give a shit. He will hear us when we Battlewalker up this ladder, though. So he'll turn around to investigate. We're just going to shoot him. We're already loud, so these guys will be lured in here safely. I'd never stealth these guys. So much has went wrong in the past when I tried to stealth this end part. So I just lure them into that room using gunshots. That's the easiest way that I know how to do it. So go through this door, and I'll see you in the next part. This next section has a big guy in it, and if you notice in the bottom right corner, I've got a counter going. You're like, Bill, why is the counter going? Well, if you notice, they're synced up with the big guy's steps. We need that guy to take 15 steps before he reaches the end of the street, where we will sprint safely behind him. I throw a grenade. I have the electromagnetic. That is not necessary. Don't do that. We're just going to sprint past him, shoot that guy in the head, and once you've made it to this small room here, you are safe. We can fill up our laser, and there is also health and armor behind us in wooden crates. Grace is now doing a phenomenal and epic job of parking the Evas Hammer on land. We can run safely to this small room on our left, where we will find our weapon kit. You can spend it on what you want, and we can shoot this super soldier through the window. shoot for his tanks, just like that. He's down. And then I'm going to post up on this piece of cover right here, this doorway. The enemies will rush in, but we are more protected. In some other guides, they recommend taking cover behind the dining room table there in the corner. I don't really like doing that because I feel really exposed, and the benefit of taking cover where I am right now is that we have that health there on the dresser if we need it. So a little bit of an emergency backup plan. There are 2 super soldiers, counting the one that we shot out the window, and 3 regular soldiers that we need to take care of. The regular soldiers will either rush in that door at you or take up cover on the window, so just be prepared for that. I think the super soldier is stuck here. He's too fat to get up the steps, so more often than not, he'll get to like right about there, and we just pop his tanks. Be very careful walking outside. I'm going to overcharge my health. Just be very, very, very careful. I think the coast is clear, so I'm going to move up to the Lakeview Hotel. There is always going to be a guy approaching the hotel from the left that way. If you're loud, he'll see you. If not, he'll be running into the hotel. After he's dead, take cover in this trench, head glitch on this little crack in the road. We can expect a total of 5 here, including the guy that was running. So there should be 1 more. So once they're dead, I like to do a little vibe check. Just look in here and make sure that there's nobody else there. Then I'm going to stand on this ledge here on the outside of the building. They can see you and they will shoot you here. So if you start taking damage, disengage your Battlewalkers. But you can usually net a couple kills in the commander here. It's usually 2 guys in the commander. Notice how I'm taking cover on this wall here because I got hit a couple times. But I'm going to go back for him. And that's about all I can get from here. So it's usually 2 soldiers and a commander. We'll disengage our Battlewalkers and we'll continue into the hotel now. I like to walk up these steps backwards. I don't think it's possible for a guy to be there, but I just make it good practice. You can never be too careful. This is a staircase from hell, okay? There is a dog. You have to run up it halfway to trigger the dog. And then we're going to throw everything that we have at these steps. Ricochet bullets work well here. If you have grenades, I don't have grenades here. Normally, I make it a good practice to throw a couple grenades up there. Notice how that ricochet shell worked pretty nice. Even if you have the camp pistol, you can even shoot a couple rockets up there. But it's usually 3 guys and a dog. We're going to ignore the rest of the enemies in this building by battle walking up to the next floor. And then battle walking up to the final floor. And exit the level.
Get the fuck down!
Run, bitch! Run!
Holy shit, we're on Venus, okay? Stay calm.
Addie Mittler
Is about to enter the room. That's an evil son of a bitch, but we need to act in front of him. There's only 3 things that you need to remember here. Nazi horror, rape and murder you, and dirty race. Remember these 3 god-awful things, and eventually, we will pass.
Finish him!
Once that is over, they're going to take you to your room. And this is one of the scariest parts in the game, man. Oh, this part has claimed my life a couple times, but stick to the script, pun intended. We're going to be just fine. Make your parents very proud of you, and eat all this fruit. Walk out your room. There's going to be a guy to your right. We are going to melee him. Only melee him. Don't shoot him, because there's actually a guy in room 1 here on our right that will come out and investigate if he hears something. He's not a happy individual. Walk up these steps. Shoot these guys in the head. Sometimes they can be facing you, so be ready for it. That son of a bitch didn't die. Okay, just be ready, okay? Those two guys aren't really a problem, but we're going to keep going. The commander's over in this room. We want to walk up to the door and shoot him in the face. I know in my written guide in the Google Sheet, that door was already open. Just be very mindful and shoot him in the face. As we walk through this door, we're going to keep going past this luggage, because if we stay behind the luggage, the super soldier has amazing eyesight and he will see you. So we want to tuck ourselves in this corner. You're going to move out and hatchet that guy in the legs. Very important. He's armored in the torso. We're going to shoot these guys in the head. I like to shoot the one standing first because it kind of takes a second for the guy sitting to stand up to react. This guy, we shoot in the ankles. Aim very low, ankles and legs area, because as we shoot him, he kind of staggers and it's a potential threat for us to shoot the tanks. And if he blows up, game over. Grab that hatchet, move up. This super soldier is going to walk from your right to your left. And once he reaches the side of that marble statue there, it's safe for us to move up. That robot there in that corner, we are going to ignore. Sometimes he can be standing in an alert position. I detail that in my written guide, so make sure you read that. There's a hatchet there. This dog can be patrolling, okay? But more often than not, you're going to find him standing at the top of these steps right here. The commander, shoot him in the head, and then there will be another soldier that's going to walk through that door. Notice how I kind of let him walk into that room a little bit. I feel as though that's an important detail. If we shoot him too soon and his body falls backwards into the hallway, there's actually a possibility for somebody to find that body. So try to let him take 1 to 2 steps in that room before you shoot him. Hatchet this guy in the legs. Just like that, we are about 75% through this god-awful part. Stay calm. I take the room on the left. There is going to be 3 scientists in here. We're looking for Headshot City. 1, 2, and there he is. 3. Okay. Important note here. If the alarm went off in this room, expect robots to in front of you and behind you. The best advice that I can give you in that situation is to sprint for the exit with your dual ARs. Another thing I want to mention, and you'll see me walk backwards here, looking at this door. And the reason for that is, even if you were quiet and super stealthy, taking out those scientists, the other scientists in the other room have most definitely heard it and they will come and investigate. And it's very possible for those scientists to meet you at that door, so be ready. We have these 2 guys to deal with here, and you have successfully stealthed that part. Please practice. Practice. That part is very sensitive, and the better you get at it, the better off you'll be. We have now found ourselves on the surface of Venus. As you can see, there's a big-ass robot in front of us up ahead. We're going to run to this coolant station and fill up while we're here. And what we want to do is lean out and just watch him for a second. That dude is jamming. Okay, now that he's turned around, we can approach him from behind. Crouch. Okay, he was listening to some drill, but we're gonna crouch through this door. If we crouch through this door and he becomes aware of us, don't worry. The soldiers on the inside don't mind, for whatever reason. This is the worst commander in the world. There are 2 enemies in this room that we need to deal with. I take out the one closest and then the one farthest away. We're looking for headshots there, so, but don't take too long because they can become aware of you standing behind that box taking aim on them. So closest to you and then the farthest one away. Moving through this vent, we are going to come across our commander here. He's going to be standing next to this large rover. We can just pop him in the head. Just like that. And then that guy. I will mention, hey. Alright, he was a little stubborn. There's tons of health and armor in this area. Make sure you pick it up. Back there, before I shot the commander, there was an armor vest. Climbing up this ladder, turn around, and drop down on this platform. You find yourself a weapon kit. Damn it. That wasn't supposed to go like that. And outside of this door, you're going to find 2 robots. I go loud here with dual ARs. These things shred. So, robot, robot. And then, that super soldier can be anywhere. He can be up there. His patrol route is around this entire square catwalk area. So, if you have the ability to shoot him from range, do that. But just know that sometimes he can be directly outside this door. And if he is, do what I'm doing right now. Okay? If I need to retreat, I just back up a little bit and allow that door to close, allowing me to get some cover and recover, and then I can just keep doing that over and over again. This fight's not really threatening to us. There should be one more robot. He got stuck here. You can normally find him on this catwalk, as I did in that clip down there. I'm still looking for him. He actually gets stuck here, and I find him up here on my left. See, now he's running at me. But more often than not, you'll find him on these steps. But he's dead. And I think I'm going to fill up here. Just wandering. Yeah. There we go. So I'm filling up my suit, and we're going to move on to our next stealth section. This stealth section's not bad at all. Just do as I do, and we should be fine. There's 2 guys up there. We don't need to bother with them. We're going to walk up this catwalk, and then we're going to walk to the far wall, and we're just going to walk the perimeter of this area. We should avoid most of the enemies that way. Our first enemy is on the other end of those vats, on the other side. You can see him there. We want to deal with him quickly, okay? The quicker the better. If he sees you, and you take too long to shoot him, even if the alarm doesn't go off, he'll trigger something called a soft alarm, which is where the enemies kind of start patrolling, but the alarm hasn't actually sounded. And if that happens, I'm going to fill up my suit again, but while I do, I'll just tell you, if that happens and the soft alarm is triggered, we can sometimes encounter enemies right here, right there, that catwalk on the left. I think I have a clip here. Yep. I was walking one time, the guy previously saw me, and I met enemies there, so walking up here, I shot that guy in the head, and I shoot that commander. I triggered the alarm intentionally here in this bottom right-hand clip, just to show you that even if they are aware of you, this ends the same way. As soon as you get up on onto that walkway, that robot dog is going to sprint out of that door, and we're going to run into it. Okay? I detailed the steps in the written guide, so if any part of that was confusing and I didn't explain it well, just look there. We're going to walk out here. Now, that robot dog and all the enemies have despawned, and we'll walk back out this door. It's a little finicky. You might have to walk back and forth to get it to open, but it'll open eventually. Walking out this door, you're going to perform a small skip here. We are going to jump on whatever this thing is. Line yourself with this railing. He should mantle it, just like that. Battlewalker up, jump. Battlewalker up, jump. Just like that. You've performed a small skip. And it's very safe. In that clip down there, I was showing you that I've fallen off a couple times, but there's catwalks underneath of that, so they should catch you. It's very safe. Walking into this room, there's a couple ways to do this. My neighbor's beeping their horn. We're going to shoot all these people in the head. This is one way of doing it. I'm going to show you another. You can shoot the guy in the head at the terminal, then shoot the terminal. And then you can shoot the dog with the ARs. And then the other 2 enemies will also come around the corner there. I like that way a little bit better because it keeps you in cover. So just do the second one, or just find out what works for you. This room here has 3 scientists in it. If you open this door and they're looking at you like down there in the clip, just stack up on the door, take them out, let them come to you. Otherwise, they should be pretty oblivious to your presence here, and you can just take them out. There's one on the left, one in the center, and one at the end. Very simple. There's only 3, and there's some armor in there you should pick up too. Don't pick up the Ubergewer, okay? It spawns 6 enemies in this hallway. That is an unnecessary fight for us that we don't want. Coming up here, we have 6 robots to deal with. We are going to melee the first one, shoot the one at the end. Ah, yes. Melee the second one, shoot the one at the end. Just like that. And now we can just melee these 2. And now that he's dead, we are moving on to our next practice point, which is not only the conveyor belt part, but the rooms after also. We'll get to those in a second. For now, equip your dual shock hammers, make sure they're fully reloaded, and when you're ready, step onto the belt. We are aiming for the barrels here, not the people. And we can actually take out those first 3 using explosives only, which is great. The guy around the corner is the only one not standing near an explosive, so you may have to shoot him in the body. Just be ready for him. And now I want you to take notice of where I'm aiming my shotguns right now, because this is where this guy will be more often than not. But pay attention to the clip down in the bottom right. Sometimes he can be before that column, and if he is, he's out of our field of view and we won't be able to shoot him. It happens sometimes, and it's a death that's really out of your control. So let's just pray that that doesn't happen. This next section can be done one of 2 ways. Both ways start out the same way, but we can do this quietly or loud. Either way, it starts the same way. We need to shoot this guy in the head, and we also need to shoot the guy on the bench in the head. After we do that, we will proceed up those stairs, and these stairs are where the 2 strategies kind of split, whether we do this loudly or we do this quietly. In that clip down there, I have my dual ARs alternating to the laser when the big guys come. And we are just going to head glitch on that rail and hold out because it is a war, okay? You're not only fighting the enemies on this floor, you're draining the enemies from the floors above us also. So you have quite a fight, but it is safe. Now, continuing with the stealth route, eventually a guy will walk in front of this door. We're going to shoot him and the guy in that room in the head. Okay, yeah, just shoot them better than I did and you'll be fine. We're going to continue down the hall to the commander. He'll be on our right. But before we turn into that room, we want to check the bridge to our left. There will sometimes be a guy on this walkway, just like that. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. If you're on the aggro path, make sure you check that way too, because there can sometimes be a guy on the turret. So after you deal with that, you can go in there and you can melee the commander. If you're an aggro route, the commander will never leave that room. Don't forget to grab that weapon kit there on the luggage cart, and then we're going to proceed to these guys. Just shoot them in the head, and we're good to move on. If we're on high alert at this point, just be careful walking down this hallway. There can be enemies in here. I want you to be safe, so just be very careful. The only person we should have left is the commander. I'm stealth, so he's got his back turned to me, but just know if you're on high alert, he can be anywhere in this room and he will be anticipating you. So be ready for that. Before we leave this section, I want to say that if at any point you set the alarm off in that section, just revert back to the stairs and use the aggro strategy. Now, exiting the lift, we have just 1 enemy directly outside. We shoot him in the head, and then we have 2 more soldiers guarding the door to the Venus control room. We are going to approach them from the side, and then we can give them each a nice little headshot with our pistols. Now, out of practice, I like to equip the dual silenced submachine guns. As the second this door opens, we are going to spray down that Venus display right there. There's a vent that we need to crawl through to get to the end. Sprint, jump like a madman. If you're like me, you have a hard time finding it. It's to your left, but I am blind, so I have a problem here. Once you're in this vent, you are safe. You have bypassed that entire fight. That's a good feeling. There's a lot of people out there that want to kill you. So go ahead and give them a wave, give them a teabag, dance around for a little bit. And then, once you're done celebrating, you can grab the codes and get the hell out of there.
Our ride's here.
Hello, how are you? I'm under the water. Please help me. Here too much raining.
Alright, now that we've turned up with the broskies, we're going to go through this vent, retrieve Fergus's arm, before we return it to him, we're going to go to the Enigma machine. We're going to take a visit back to New Orleans to Bineville Street. We need to go back to Bineville Street so that we can retrieve the Ramshackles. And this is actually a really simple task. There's only 4 enemies standing between you and the Ramshackles. When you're down here, there's a pretty nifty weapon kit. Once you grab the weapon kit, the only thing left to grab is the Ramshackles. They can be located at the end of this sewer. Once you grab them, exit the district. Do not hit exit main menu. I have done that shit. It is pain. We'll meet up with Rita. Yeah. Anyways, Rita can be found on the main elevator back at the Evas Hammer. We're going to go down into the basement with Rita. Stay focused. She's going to lead us to this area. And the only thing we have to do here is tackle the shit out of everything using our Ramshackles. Just destroy it. And Rita will be very happy with us. She is going to upgrade our Ramshackles for us.
Help, Captain. I wonder if Grace will let me build a sauna in here.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 would. Anyways, go back to the elevator, take the ride up. Our Ramshackles will now regenerate our armor, and that shit's tight. That's going to be super useful in the next mission. We take the arm back to Fergus now, and then we'll be headed out to the final mission of the game. If you're nervous, you should be. I'm just kidding. We're going to make our way through this. Immediately back up. You do not want to die to fall damage. That would just be awful. Anya is going to Spider-Woman up that hatch and lower it back down for us. Man, what a badass woman. I open that door, and we are going to Battlewalker up into this vent. We're going to leave it momentarily and go around the corner here and try to take out as many enemies as we can without being greedy. I think I fall about 3 here. I also tried to get the drone, but I did not. Okay, that guy came around the corner, so I hauled ass back to my vent. This is your safe place. Stay here. Sometimes they'll be really stupid like this guy and walk right up to it. You can also kind of skim the drone there with a couple lucky shots. They will throw grenades just like that. Back up. And yeah, this is our home. This fight has an indicator when it is finished. Sigrun will start talking to Anya.
Sigrun, we're in.
Just like that. And after they get done talking about the Odin control system, we'll find ourselves back into an encounter that resembles the first mission quite a bit. It's like copy and paste. And we can use the same strategy by head glitching on this wall, just like I'm doing now. There are a shitload of soldiers and 1 super soldier, and I believe 1 drone. I think I count that out. I think I have a clip of the kill count later in here, so we can actually confirm that later. But for now, he gets some pretty good hits on me. I would prioritize falling that super soldier first for that exact reason. The other soldiers aren't much of a threat here as long as we keep them at bay. I will say again, because I feel like I've said this a lot during this guide, that when you think they're all dead, they are most likely not all dead. So we need to take this slow and be very cautious. That's why I have that yellow flag down there. We want to take it slow. So that drone is now dead. And I'm just going to hang out here, cover to cover. Yeah, there's the kill count. 7 to 8 soldiers, 1 drone, and 1 super soldier is what you can expect here. I still make it a good practice to just... Look, I'm being like a secret agent right now. But after you're pretty confident they're all dead, there's tons of stuff we can pick up. There's health that we can overcharge ourselves with back there close to that charging station. I don't know why I didn't grab it. Moving up, we can Ray Lewis this guy into his next life. I would make it a good practice to just shoot him, though. He does have a gun. Don't be stupid like me. We can climb up this ladder. There's resources up here. Health and armor, if we need it. Which I do, so I'll take all of that shit. Hell yeah. And we can go through this vent. This next section is kind of stealthy. It's just 3 guys. They're pretty oblivious to the world. Not too much of an issue. We just want to aim for the head, just like this. Okay, no, not like that. Holy shit. No, my accuracy is trash. Just do better than I did and you'll be fine. Grab all of this good stuff. We can make use of all of it. And while I do that, I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming room. We're going to take the Battlewalker vent, not the Ramshackle path. Because if we took the Ramshackle path, they will hear it and they will sound the alarm. Just be warned and be careful that sometimes taking the Battlewalker vent can make these guys act really strange and investigate this before you even get there. It's so weird. I take out the commander, take out this upper catwalk, take out that soldier and the dog. We've got one on the upper level right here. And then the super soldier. If that goes wrong for you and the alarm sounds, notice that vent on that upper catwalk right there. We can go in there and there is there's an armor vest. But just make sure you watch behind you because they can come up that catwalk. But you should be able to shoot everybody from there and have a decent amount of cover. Just take it slow. We're going to take Blazkowicz to a spelling bee. He's going to write out Valhalla in that terminal. We're going to chuck a grenade in that elevator shaft, killing those poor bastards. Grab all this ammo, and we're going to go down this elevator shaft. We can do this stealthily, or we can do this completely aggro. Completely up to you. The aggro option is just grabbing that big-ass gun there and intentionally sounding the alarm and killing everybody that comes up there. It's actually kind of nice. Here's the stealth route, though. So we hatchet that guy. I recommend not hatcheting this guy. We want to melee him. He is armored in the torso. That would just deflect. That is not good for us. I like to hatchet this commander. We want to melee this guy. I know I hatchet him, but again, he is armored and he almost reacted. I pissed myself. And then this commander here is on a patrol, but that's really strange because normally he's right at the end and he's got his back turned to you. So just be careful and watch your signal counters. We're going to ignore big guy there and just duck right out of this section. This next section, we are going to equip our dual shock hammers. These bad boys should be fully upgraded now and ready to put out some serious damage to the backside of these enemies in this hallway. We're going to flank around the backside of them, and we are going to lean out on the left-hand side of this doorway and just never stop shooting. Send everything that you have into that cluster of enemies. And damn, holy shit, I am blind. Dude, there's a guy. Yeah. I don't know what I was doing there. So if that goes badly for you, remember that vent that we just went into earlier? That would be a good retreat point. Another good thing before you just mindlessly run up that hallway like I did is to check the turret on the left. Sometimes one likes to stack up on that. We are now in a super soldier capsule with Anya. And she's about to have a big ass dude get right on top of her. Just like that. Yeah. And then I guess he heard her say that she loved me more, so he got jealous. And he's going to jump over onto our cab and rip our cab open. We're going to shoot him in the face. Never stop shooting him until he is dead. So we'll climb out of the capsule. And we want to shoot the fan. Make an intentional jump over. Don't miss it. It is missable. Oh, dear God, I'd cry for you. This next room is 100% stealthable. If the alarm sounds, I have a backup plan for you. So it is recoverable. We will headshot this guy. And then we need to headshot the guy way over there. Don't worry, the pistols can do it. If the alarm sounds here, the door that we need to get into will slam shut, and that is not good for us. In the event that that happens, make your way upstairs, go all the way to the end. You should find a charging station and some health on a crate. You're going to need to fend off some super soldiers there. It's not going to be easy, but it is recoverable. If you do that,
William, I'm closing in on the Owen main control center.
You will hear that voice line, either killing the 3 guys stealthily or aggro. Going into here, aggro, these guys are scurrying, as you can see in the clip down low. If you're still stealth, they are just wandering around. So just be careful. If you did have to do it aggro, just know what to expect. They are They are buzzing like bees in here, man. Now, we can make sure that BJ still can spell Valhalla. Got to sound it out. After he's finished, we will run up to this piece of cover right here. I like this. There's 100 health we can grab. Our priority here is the robot dog. In no circumstance, let that dog get close to you. He will stagger you, and that is not a good thing. So make him priority 1, and then just clean up the rest of the soldiers. That's the best way to do that. Going through that door, there will be 2 robots, but I want to explain what we're going to do once they're dead. You're going to make an immediate right, go upstairs, and then make an immediate left up the robotic arm. So you'll see that again. I was just kind of prefacing. So there's 2 robots here. Once the 2 robots are dead, we're going to make an immediate right, go upstairs, immediate left, up the arm, and up the ladder. Nothing else matters. Okay, climbing up this ladder, this will be one of the few remaining practice points. I want you to practice before the final fight and leading up to it. So we're going to go up this catwalk, and there will be 2 super soldiers that have just landed in this small, I'll call it a courtyard of an area. We want to deal with them before we jump down. So that's a free kill with the laser. We just want to nab them in the tanks. This guy hides from me just a little bit. So I'll wait for him to come back, and then I'll shoot him also. Just like that. Now I'm going to equip an AR and a shotgun here, but I would just recommend 2 shotguns. Sprint over and take this path that I'm taking. This is going to lead you to a small room. You'll find both commanders right here almost all of the time. So now we have a big guy to fight, and we're going to do the exact same thing that we did back in Manhattan earlier in the game. Take that lobber arm off first. That doorway right there is probably the safest doorway to do it. There are some other guys that do it on a catwalk above this, but I like the door. That clip that I was showing earlier was just one of my test playthroughs, seeing how many volleys of missiles it would take for him to actually nail me in that door. It was about 5, but I would not test fate. Just take him down as quick as possible. We're going to refill our laser, and then we have a fight up at the top before the final fight. For this next fight, I'm going to run up here just a little ways, take one out to instigate, and then I'm going to immediately run back into this corner. We're going to be pursued by a robot dog. Just like that, we want to shoot him as soon as possible because his explosion can stagger us still back here. I'm going to make note of this tower here on our left, right there. Notice how his shotgun shells are coming right through that. That tower is hollow, and in no way, shape, or form should we ever take cover on that. You will die. This fight is a lot like Penthouse earlier in the game. We are in this spot, we're well protected, but we can die. We are not invincible here. But as long as we take the enemies out as they appear to us, we should be just fine. So I just heard the super soldier rocket boost over here. I'm readying my laser for him while also keeping my AR in my left hand so that I can continue to crowd control the regular soldiers. Just like that. You beam that super soldier in the head with that laser, you should be perfectly fine. Now, notice how the commander's signal is raising rapidly. He is running to the opposite end of the deck, and then he's going to run back to us to try to put a cap in our ass, essentially. He will run at you, and once he's dead, you've got one more robot dog to deal with, and you'll notice how I'm still being very careful. I'm waiting, just in case. Take this slow. Always take things slow in Mein Leben. I'm going to get out here, and there's a little bit of resources that I can take advantage of. I can overcharge my health, essentially put myself in a perfect position. Right there, 200 and 100. There's that other robot dog. And after that robot dog is dead, notice how I'm still moving cover to cover. I'm not sprinting to the finish. I'm never leaving myself terribly exposed. There's armor there if you need it. I'm going to stack up on the right-hand side of this door and do what I like to call knocking to see if anybody's home. Usually firing a couple rounds will have them either fire back or trigger a voice line. That will detail if somebody's there. Those grenades are a huge detail. Do not enter into this last fight without grenades. Pick those up. That is a crucial detail. Now we're just going to fill up our laser and use this time before entering the lift to fill up our armor, health, ammo, make sure everything is reloaded. This is also a practice point. We want to make sure that our shock hammers are fully upgraded. Those things are going to be pulling most of the weight, if not all of it, in this final fight. When you're ready and you've made your save to practice, if you're on Death Incarnate, we can press the button. Here we go. We're going to run up in between these two pieces of cover. 2 super soldiers are going to fall. We want to shoot the one that lands first and then the second one in the tanks. Reload our shotguns. Sometimes you can meet some adversity here in the center, just like that. Take him out. And then we're going to shoot the one that lands first. These shock hammers should drop them very quickly. When you're ready, reload, next piece of cover, rinse and repeat. Pay attention to which capsule launches first. That will be the one that lands first. In this case, the right one. Drop the right one, and then drop the left one. Now, this is where practice comes in handy. Reload your shotguns, pause there for a second, sprint over to your left, run in, spray your shotguns, grenade off the wall, Battlewalker up the ladder, and into the vent. Out of practice, I like to toss another grenade in that vent. If nobody's outside, make your sprint up and you are scotch free. Now you can understand why that requires so much practice, especially that final part. Once we're up here, they have no clue where you are. I'm detailing here that if you came out the vent and that Ubergewer guy is standing there, we do not want to run up because he will fuck us up. We need to deal with him and make sure he's dead before you make your run. If you're quick and you throw the grenade into the vent, most of the time he's not out there, but he can be. Just know that you need to deal with him. So admittedly, that other strategy is very risky. I mean, you need to have the perfect scenario play out for that to go right. Practice helps, but sometimes the Zerasters can get a lucky shot on you. So I'm offering you an alternate strategy. This one takes a little longer, but it is safer. And it starts out the same exact way that the last one did. We're going to run up in between these pieces of cover and take out the super soldiers exactly as I displayed in the other one. Paying attention to which one launches first and taking that one out as a priority. There's going to be 3 sets of them. We're going to move up and take these guys out. So the right one launched first, and we can expect him to land first. And once these guys are dead, we're actually going to sprint over to our right and go underneath the playfield here. This is where we're going to stay for a good period of time. There's a ton of resources under here, health and armor, but I highly recommend that you don't take those until you absolutely need them. Preferably saving them to bolster your position before you go out and fight the Zerastors later. Under here, you can expect between 15 to 20 soldiers rushing you, sometimes more, but I would just run around under here and hip fire these soldiers from afar with the ARs until no more show up. You have invested at this point multiple hours to get here, so waiting 5 to 10 minutes under here just to make sure that no other soldiers are going to come shoot you in the back is well worth the wait. So just hang out down here. It's really not bad. By the time the soldiers come down here and aim up on you, you can take them out really quickly. I do think at some point in this gameplay, I step outside the door. That's not really necessary. You can just sprint on the inside, never peeking out. I think it's right here. Okay, maybe not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this gameplay just play out. There's no need in me rambling here for 4 to 5 minutes. I'll come back right before we go outside to fight the Zerastors, and I'll kind of walk you through that. But for now, just chill down here. coming back here because I'm doing my final rounds now. I'm just checking each of these doors individually just to make sure that there's not a surprise soldier standing outside of one of them waiting for me when I go up here to deal with the 2 Zerosters above. So basically the strategy coming up here is we're going to equip a laser in our right hand and we're going to keep the AR in our left just so that we can deal with any lightweight soldiers in the event that there is just a surprise one standing up there for us. And I think there's the there's the big guy above me. So basically our game plan is to equip the laser and we are going to run around the perimeter of this level. The movement of the Zeroster is fast when it's boosting, but we are a lot faster as long as we are continuously sprinting. And you'll see I'm going to charge my laser up here, and when we start running, we are going to try to mirror where the Zerosters are. I'll explain as we go. So I'm immediately running down here, putting me at the opposite end of that Zeroster. I can get a headshot on him from range, and then I instantly start running again. So I'm going to do the same thing. That Zeroster has now rocketed towards that end, so I'll run to this end, putting me at the complete opposite end of him from a safe range. And we can go down here, and now that he's came to this end, I'm just going to mirror that. I'm just going to go to the opposite end, and we can get a safe shot from behind him. The Zerosters are now dead. It's a bit longer of a way to do it. It is a lot safer. If you miss your laser craftwork shots, there is a charging station here. I would recommend you throwing an electromagnetic grenade to stun the Zeroster before you start charging, because it does take a little while. There is also health here, and if you didn't grab the health down low where we were. And once you're ready, you can head up to the command deck, and we're going to deal with Engel. I want to talk a little bit about Engel, because I'm sure you've heard the horror stories of people dying to her. I want to give you a little sense of security here. Don't take it lightly, but I don't think you're going to die. As long as you stay on the path, and you go immediately to her, and spam your melee button like a motherfucker, you should be fine. Grab that health. Down there in the bottom, I'm giving you just a small sample of me getting shot by Engel over and over again. And what I found is that it pretty consistently takes her about 3 to 4 shots to kill you. If we're fast enough, she won't get one. But I think what happens when people die to Engel is they divert off the path. They don't go straight for her. They may divert to the right or the left. And she's got a very strict path that we need to take. So as long as we beeline for her, we will be fine. So we're going to press the button to the elevator, and I want you to pay attention to my movements. As I get close to the bottom, I'm like a rabid animal. I want to kill this. Like, I am pushing myself off of it, and I'm beelining straight to her, spamming the melee button as fast as I can. That's the simplest way to do it. With that hatchet in her eye, you either just completed your Death Incarnate practice run, or maybe, just maybe, completed Mein Leben. In either case, both are huge accomplishments, because that's no easy task. This guide took me so long to make, over the course of 3 months, and over 1,000 gigs worth of recording and voiceover. If this guide provided any type of value to you, I would really appreciate you leaving me some form of feedback on how the guide could have been better. Was there anything wrong? I would love to hear from you. Horror stories and success stories, because unfortunately, well, as far as Mein Leben goes, you don't get one without the other. I'm B. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Just like that. So now that they're dead, I'm going to equip my dual ARs. Nope, I'm going to equip a shotgun. Fuck it. Let's rush it. Walking into this room, there's a couple ways to do this. My neighbor's beeping their horn. It's 3 in the morning. Here we go. 15 seconds in, we are restarting level 1. Alright guys, headshot them as fast as possible. Sometimes they survive bullets to the head. I don't know what that dude was on. Probably popped a perk 30 before he came to work. Okay. Damn it, now I kind of have to pee now.